Welcome in. Come on in, everybody. This is our second broadcast. We are... All right. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We are back for the second broadcast. Today, we are talking to Latinas. You know, there was a video that we watched in the last broadcast. I'm going to pull that up while I'm waiting for everybody to get in so that you all know what we're talking about. Welcome in. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right. I see that the numbers are starting to come in. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and you all are just starting to come back in. We were just here broadcasting live talking about this video that Eight at the Table did, where they were talking about how Spanish women are raised to be wives and to serve, whereas Black women are raised to be frolic, or whatever it is that he was saying, right? And so we decided that we were going to separate the call-in show from the first show, and so we're waiting for everybody to come in. The question tonight, welcome in, everybody. You know what? Yes, we're only talking to the, you know what? How about, because you know what? Because his video addressed Latinas. So that's who we're asking the question to. So you know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we leave the first part of the call-in for Latinas only? And then what we'll do is we'll open it up to other women who were taught to be submissive and then were submissive. I want to find out what it is that you got for your submission. So we're going to play his video real quick while we wait for everybody to come in. And then after that, we're going to open up the phone lines. So if you're just getting here, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. We're going to go piece by piece. Let me check and make sure the text is going out. Oh, the text has not gone out yet, but that's fine because the text notification squad should have been here for the last video. So we're just going to play this again for the people who were not here. All right, here we go.
A Spanish woman, they're raised to be a wife.
But why isn't a Black woman raised that way?
Most Black women are raised to be independent. Remember, let's be real.
Say that again?
Most Black women are raised to be strong, tough, independent, and don't take no shit. Because your daddy wasn't shit. I raised you alone by myself. Be a strong Black woman. So they come into the game with their guard up ready. Spanish girl is raised to serve. They be cooking for their father at a young age, washing the dishes, washing the table, mopping all Saturday morning. Let's face it, they're raised to serve. If one time I swear to God, I'm at a girl's house having dinner. I got her with my own plate, put it in the garbage, put it in the sink. Her mom spazzed on her in Spanish about da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, in the Black woman's house, if I get up with my own plate.
Hold on. You're out of here. It was a person by the name of Just Chillin' who decided to be like, I'm a whitey, so I can't weigh in here, but here I am. Yeah, you're blocked. You're out of here. There are people who are speaking, and you're not one of them. You can't exert your privilege everywhere. Sit down. Sit the F down. Let's get back into our video as we were so rudely interrupted. Let's go back a little.
If one time I swear to God, I'm at a girl's house having dinner. I got her with my own plate, put it in the garbage, put it in the sink. Her mom spazzed on her in Spanish about da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, in the Black woman's house, if I get up with my own plate, she gonna say, that's a damn good nigga. He got his own shit. I like him, Shirley. He got his own shit. But Maria better get up and get that plate and get it washed and show him you are a wife.
You know what? I didn't pick up because listen, for those of you who are like, he ain't never lying, he telling the truth, blah, 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 blah. We just spent an hour analyzing this video piece by piece, and I missed something. He said, listen to the story he told. Right? Listen to the story.
If one time I swear to God, I'm at a girl's house having dinner.
All right. He prefaces the story by saying, one time I was at a girl's house and I was having dinner, right? He's telling an anecdote, but when he tells the other story, listen to what it is that he says.
Got out with my own plate, put it in the garbage, put it in the sink. Her mom spazzed on her in Spanish about da 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 da. Now, in the black woman's house, if I get up, my own.
All right. What does he say? In the black woman's house, if I get up. He's not telling a story about his own experience. He's making up some for instance in his mind. In the black woman's house, if I get up, how would you know, sir? This is a made up fantasy. And then he masculinizes the black mother. Take a look. Listen to what he says.
Black woman's house, if I get up with my own plate, she gonna say, that's a damn good nigga.
She gonna say, which means he hasn't heard this. He's not giving a side-by-side comparison. He's making up some nonsense. Look at how he's sitting to describe the black woman. Masculine, legs open. Look his face. That's a damn good nigga. I mean, who was talking to you like that, sir? Who was sitting like that with her frock ajar, legs cock wide open, frock blowing in the wind, twatina out her door, talking about, yeah, that's a damn good nigga. I mean, come on. Did he even deepen his voice? Come on, man. Listen, yeah, let me.
My own plate. She gonna say, that's a damn good nigga. He got his own shit. I like him, Shirley. He got his own shit. But Maria better get up and get that plate and get it washed and show him you are a wife.
And then the Latina comes and weighs in. How come the text notification squad has not gotten their text yet? This thing is tripping today. I don't like this at all. Listen, the Latina now, right? The Latina comes to weigh in. And we analyzed all of this in the last video.
In my perspective as a woman and how Spanish guys been with me and my relationships, it's trash. You understand? Like, no luck. But how black men been with me, my past relationships, they've been good. I've been the bitch.
Is it because of the sex? Does sex have anything to do with it?
Nah, not really.
Okay. All right. Listen. We broke it all down in the last video. I don't know why the text notification squad hasn't gotten their text yet. Let me open up the phone lines while I check on the text notification squad. So go and get ready to start calling in. 323-488. The number is going across the screen. We also have some apples that have Jada Pickett mom taught Willow how not to need a man like what? Yeah, I mean, freedom. Listen, you got to go back to the last video. We broke it down royally. So let me get the phone lines open. Give me one moment, you all. All right. And while the phone calls are coming in, we are going to make sure this text goes out. All right. Everything about you is successful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. So right now, the phone lines are open. I just want Latinas to call in. The question is, Latinas, what are you gaining for your submission? That's what I want to know. You're on the air live with Tanya TKO. What's your name? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have the phone system set all the way up. Hold on. I'm sorry. All right, you're on the air live with Tanya TKO. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Tanya. My name's Jen, and I'm calling from New York.
Hi, Jen. You're Latina?
Yes, I'm Dominican.
Okay. Are you mixed Latina, white Latina, black Latina?
I would say I'm mixed.
Okay, wonderful. So Jen from New York, Dominicana on the line. So talk to us. What is it that you are gaining for all of your submission?
I would say growing up was really hard on me. What you said earlier actually resonated with me because I hated being a girl growing up. I grew up in a very strict household where the girl has to cook, clean, take care of the house, take care of my other siblings. And I remember asking my dad vividly, why couldn't I join a basketball team that I wanted to join? And he straight up told me that it's because I'm not a boy. And I really, really hated being a girl. I'd say I'd probably changed, I think, the older I got and I moved away from home. I started loving my femininity, but I saw it as a huge setback growing up because of that, because I was living for some man that I've never even met.
Oh, oh my goodness, Jen. Oh my goodness, my heart goes out to you. You are telling my story. Oh my goodness. So, how old were you when you first started getting these lessons on how to take care of some man of the future?
It's funny that you asked that because I feel like from the womb, maybe, because even when they weren't teaching me, they were teaching my older cousins. So it's something, I'm first generation. Like I was born in DR. I came here very young.
Okay.
So my family just got to the States and seeing how my cousins were treated. And then when I got my period, that's when everything changed. I went from being a girl to being a señorita. And when you're a señorita and you're Dominican, that's it. Like it's, you got to start womanizing yourself by being, like cleaning and cooking, and that's your worth. And it just, I hated it completely.
So my question, so you became a señorita, what, around 12 or so?
Yes, I think I was about 11 or 12.
Okay. And then so before that, you were able to play and do all the things that little girls do. But then when you became a señorita.
Yes, when I got my period, I remember my grandma was so happy. And as soon as that happened, like everything changed. And they're like, okay, well, go get a mop, go, start cooking. You got to learn how to do this. You're a señorita already.
No, they didn't. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, they
Yes.
didn't. They didn't say go get a mop.
Go clean. Yes. I'm telling you, Tanya.
No, they
like
didn't. Not go get a mop. Congratulations. You got your period. Go get a mop. No.
Yes, go get a mop, go clean, ponte a mapear, ponte a cocinar, like, I hated it. I really did. And it influenced who I married in the future, So
What do you mean? Tell me more. How did it influence who you married?
And I love Hispanic men, and I love my dad. I love him. He's a great guy, great provider. But I did not want to marry a man like him because I felt like I would be imprisoned again almost. So I married a white man. Ese machismo, the machismo, I can't marry someone like that. Because my dad is like that. He's, and my mom was okay with it. And, that's what people did back then. But I didn't want that for myself. So.
Hold on. So, hold on. This is deep. All right. Hold on. All right. I just sent out the text to you all. If you saw me typing, that's what I was doing because I needed to make sure the text notification squad got their text. Like I said, the system, they changed some laws at the beginning of the year. And so now I've submitted some forms to be in compliance with the new laws, so we're just in a kind of growth stage right now. But you all did get your text, and I'm welcoming you all in right now. Right now, we have Jen on the line from New York. She's a Dominicana, and she said that she was rewarded for becoming a señorita at the age of 11 by being told to go get a mop. You know, I can't, I
Yes.
can't even.
Yes.
Go get a mop. And so
Go get a
then you
mop.
stood.
Ponte a limpiar.
I just can't. How do you say mop in Spanish?
A mapear. Coge el suape. Ponte a mapear.
Can't. So nonetheless, so then so you said you had to get away from home in order to be able to get from underneath the regiment.
Yes.
Did you date when you were at home?
Behind my parents' back, and that's another thing, that when you're held prisoner, you don't do the smartest thing. So you go out with the first guy that gives you attention, and it was, I wish I would have been able to be more open with my parents, but I couldn't because of that.
That's so interesting because all of the Latinas I knew growing up, their parents were okay with them dating. They dated, they had their quinceañera, they had little boyfriends, they were wearing eyeliner at 9. I don't know if their parents knew about the eyeliner though. Huh?
Yeah, we were encouraged to look nice, look pretty, do our makeup, but when it came to boys or us doing anything outside of the home, it was definitely frowned upon. And I think it's the first generation. We were the first, group of people from DR to come over, to the New York. And I think that had a lot to do with it.
Okay, interesting. So you had to date secretly. Your parents didn't welcome dating.
No, not at all.
And so
they were very anti-sex.
So all of this preparing for a husband, how was you going to get one if you weren't, being taught how to date too?
I thank God I met my husband. I married a white man, and I looked for a white man because of what happened to me growing up. And I think I married right. It's unfortunate. My dad was very, very mad at first. Up until the day of the wedding, he was asking me if I was sure. But I'm glad I did. And one thing I wanted to say to Black women, please, I remember growing up, I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and
Bronx in the house. Hold on.
Hey,
BX. Hey, BX. Yay. Okay, go ahead. Okay, all right.
Yes. And most of my friends were little Black girls, and I was so envious of them. I remember oh my God, they have the freedoms that I don't have, and they know the language. Please, Black girls, don't ever feel under anyone. People. I mean, I looked up to my Black friends, and I'm sure many, many, many people do. Especially back then,
you said they knew the language, so they were speaking Spanish to you in the Bronx.
No, they knew. So I moved from bilingual class to English class, and it wasn't like the other Puerto Rican or Dominican girls that took me in. It was the Black girls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I have nothing but great things to say. And this man, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
What do you mean he doesn't know what he's talking about? Apparently he does. You just co-signed everything he said. What are you saying?
Well, it doesn't feel good on the girl side. It doesn't.
I mean, but on the man side, you can see where he's coming from, because he's marrying a person who's serving. She's been raised to serve, and that is his definition of being a wife. So on his side, it's beneficial. So did you date Black guys?
No, my dad made it very known that he did not want us dating Black men.
Oh, really? Tell me more. So So what did he do to let you know that he did not want you dating black men or black boys?
The only race of the only type of men that he went out of his way to say you will not marry or date are black men.
What did he say to you, Jen? Spill the spill.
You know, what people say now, that they'll leave you and they won't take care of you, and I seen what they do to some women and stuff like that. And
Come on, give us you holding back. Be honest. You on the phone. No one can see you. This is anonymous. Go ahead. Tell us the real deal. What did your papa say? ¿Qué te dijo? Come on.
él dijo que me va, you know, that they're gonna leave me dumped and pregnant, and then he's gonna have to take care of me, and sobre mi cadáver, you know, I'll have to be dead before you marry a black guy, and you know, all the negative stuff that unfortunately a lot of people think.
So he was hip to the game way back when. But how did he even know that this was the motif back then?
So my dad was a cab driver, and he got to see a lot of stuff in the streets, and he would come home, you know, we were 4 girls, and he would sit us down, and I guess he was, you know, getting into arguments and stuff, or just stuff that he saw, because he was a cab driver, and he was like, don't ever marry a black man. And
damn.
Yeah.
Is your father
I would never even considered it.
Really? Damn. Is your father a mixed Dominican, black Dominican, white Dominican?
I would say we're mixed.
Okay, your father as well.
well.
Okay, your mother as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mother, yeah.
Do you know any Latinas that have dated black men?
Any from my family that have been?
No, friends or anybody, because I want to know whether or not they're really catering to the Latinas, as Sin Santana said before her hair became wild and she was holding her babies, clutching her child's head, hair wild, shaking from him walking out the door.
Oh my God. Man.
I know I have a way with words. I know I do. Well, you know what? For those who don't know, let me show the clip. Because Sin Santana, she said, oh, black men cater to us. Oh, I love the black man. Oh, we never played the second part of the video. You know what? We have to play the second part of the video. But so go ahead. So you don't know any other Latinas that dated black men to know whether or not this cater rumor is true?
No, my family have all married Hispanic. And it's kind of like you said, a lot of them, they're not very good marriages just because of the machismo with a lot of those marriages, but it's kind of it is what it is mentality.
So what are Spanish men like in dating?
I would say just expectations, where everything has to be perfect. You can't embarrass me, but you can't be on top of me either. Like, you can't have a better job than me. You can't make more money than me. You can't. It's that servitude. But I think I'm more with the relationship I had with my dad, with him thinking, I really, really feel like my dad wanted all boys, and he ended up having girls, and it just got to him.
Oh, wow.
And with that relationship, I don't ever, oh my God, I would never date a man that was like him. And that was the only bad aspect of my dad, was that he thought he was on top of women. He was above them. And what did he does think that.
What did he do to give you the impression that he felt he was above women?
He told us.
He said, I'm above you?
Yes. I would ask, why can't I do that? Because you're not a man. Or, if you ever become a man, if you grow some balls, then yeah, you can do it.
Like what? What type of stuff did he feel that you needed balls for?
Riding a bike.
You had to have testicles to ride a bike?
Yes. My husband taught me how to ride a bike after we got married. just going out with friends, um, dating. Only men could date. Like my boy cousins could date, and it was like nice and cool. But like all the girls, we just had to sit there and wait for someone to. I don't know what we were supposed to wait on because we weren't allowed to date. So I don't. Yeah, it just
So he didn't even
I
want you
couldn't
dating
be
Hispanic
bored.
men.
No, yes. So no Hispanic
What was
men.
his reason? What was his reason for him not wanting you to date Hispanic men?
There's shame in sex, Tanya. Like there really is. I feel like after you become a señorita and your body's coming in, and with us, we were always allowed to dress however we wanted. Look super feminine and pretty. We just couldn't let anyone touch us, and the whole purity thing. Um, like I said, it was not very cool. Not a good few years for us, but thank God I'm out of that. And I will never, do that to my kids ever,
I had
especially my
no
girls, because I
idea.
hated being a woman. I hated it.
You have children
I
now?
remember asking my mom to get me like the super baggy pants that Aaliyah would wear.
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with that look because I didn't want to, I don't know, I didn't want to be a girl. I hated it. It was boring. It
Yeah.
was, you
Yeah.
know, felt trapped.
Yeah. So, I forgot the question I just asked you, but I wanted to know. Did you hear the question?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, what was the question I just asked? Uh, 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 I don't remember, but I really wanted to know. Maybe somebody will remember. Somebody said them Spanish girls be the biggest hoes. I'm
I
surprised to
believe it.
because some of the girls in Catholic school were talking about they were virgins in the front,
Yeah. Because you have to hide it. Like,
but in
to this day, it's
the
hard to
back door
believe.
doesn't been
Yeah.
entered.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my parents would not be happy with the stuff that I did, but I only did it to lash out or just to at least
Yeah.
learn what sex was, even if it's from some boy,
Oh,
that's just
okay.
using me,
Yeah.
you
You know
know?
what? I asked whether or not you had children.
No, I don't. Not yet.
Okay, okay. So when you have girls, what do you think is going to be the difference? When you have children, girl and or boy, what is going to be the difference in the way that you raise them versus the way you were raised?
Girls are not born handicapped. That's the number one thing. Don't ever feel ashamed to be a girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Girls are lovely and we're soft and we're emotional, but we're just beautiful human beings that
Okay.
are just so like we're worthy of putting a chance on us. Like let us play sports, let us
Mm-hmm.
join clubs, let us date. Um,
Okay.
we're not little China dolls that you put in a little box and just save for some random guy that slept with 20 girls to finally pick you.
Mm. All
Yeah.
right. And then how will you raise your sons differently than the boys in your family were traditionally raised?
I would definitely let them know that they're the same as their sisters.
What
There's
do you mean by that?
absolutely
The same as their sisters.
I remember growing up, like especially my boy cousins, they knew how much more I felt like they felt more loved or more important than us girls, and they knew it. I don't know how to put that into words, but como que tenían una aura, like it just like they knew
Mm.
they have a chip on
Okay.
their shoulder.
Got you.
Um, but
Got you. Got you. You know what, Jen? Thank you so much for being so honest and sharing your heart with us today. Thank you. We appreciate that.
yeah.
And I don't know if you've gotten therapy or anything to kind of heal some of those wounds. Have you?
I have.
Okay.
I developed some OCD because of it.
Mm.
Um, but yes, I have gotten therapy, and I've forgiven my dad. And I told him that I forgave him. I've forgiven my mom too for letting it happen.
Yeah.
For allowing her daughters to be pretty much put in jail. But yeah, it's my other sisters. They're still pretty bitter about it, but I've managed to forgive, but I won't
And
forget. And
yeah,
the
your
the
sisters are with
cycle stops with
Hispanic
me.
men, right?
I'm sorry, say that
Your
again.
sisters are with Hispanic men, right?
Yes, they're both
Okay. And what are
Hispanic
their
men.
relationships like?
One has stopped dating altogether, and the other one became a teenage mom. And she's had a really rough path. Um, and then the other one is dating right now, and she's pretty happy. Um,
Okay, so she chose a Latino that it doesn't have much machismo, or she's okay with the machismo.
he is Mexican and Puerto Rican, and he had been in the States. Well, his family was in the States a lot longer than our family. I feel like the fact that we came straight out of the island, kind of, we came, up with
Okay.
that
How
baggage
how
over,
old how old are you now?
So I'm 34.
So you're 34. Your sister who stopped dating altogether, how old is she?
She is 29.
So how long has she just stopped dating?
She just stopped about 2, 3 years ago. It's funny because you remember that, I think, asexual show that you had? I
Yeah.
think that's her. I think that's my sister right now.
Damn.
Um,
And then the other sister became a teenage mom. How old is she now?
she is 24.
And so you said she had a rough time. So your parents were not all down with being grandparents?
Not at all. And that's what I don't get. If you don't want your daughters to make irresponsible sexual decisions, why are we not worthy of sexual education? I didn't know anything, Tanya. I learned it in the streets.
Oh my
you know?
goodness.
And
Okay.
that's what I don't get. How are we supposed to learn? I don't blame my sister one bit.
Someone wanted to
If
know
we're
whether
not.
your father abused you all at all.
Oh no. No.
He
We were
was
like sexual abuse, no.
no,
We
or
did
even
get,
violence.
corporal punishment.
No corporal
Yeah,
punishment
yeah,
either. Oh,
yeah. He could get very violent. Yeah. He
so
had a
he
gambling problem.
so he would be violent with you all as well.
Yes,
Was he violent with your mother?
he was.
So he's hit your mother.
Yes. Until one day she said enough and she hit him back, and it didn't happen after that too much because she stabbed him.
She stabbed
So,
him?
yes. He was trying to shove her off a window, and she grabbed a knife and stabbed him. Mm.
In which part of his body, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was around shoulder, his shoulder blade.
Wow.
Hmm.
And so after that stab, did he have to go to the hospital and all of that?
Yes,
Oh, stitches or blood
yes. I think he
transfusions
still
or
has a
both?
scar.
Oh,
Oh no, he still has a
oh,
scar.
oh,
Mhm.
okay. And when you said that he would be violent with you girls, like you would be hit in your face?
I don't remember too many face, but he would pull our hair, and to this day I remember. It's not a good memory at all.
For what
Um,
reason was he pulling your hair? To get you to go somewhere, like dragging you over somewhere?
Honestly, I don't remember. I think as a child, when you're getting hit, you don't even know why. I didn't know.
So do you remember him hitting you with objects, a belt, a cord, a
Yeah, the
chancla?
belt.
Okay.
The belt, yeah, mainly. Yeah.
Okay. And the amount of times that he hit you with his hand, was minimal? It was mainly objects, or was he hitting you with his hand much?
It was mainly with the belt, yeah. But the hair pulling was very demeaning, and I remember it vividly.
So help me understand. So pulling your hair in what way? Like yanking it, or like grabbing a handful of hair and like pulling you by your
Just a
head?
handful of hair and pulling me and like so I can turn my face. Like um yeah,
Oh,
he would just pull it to like I guess to just turn our head so we could
wow.
see him. But I mean it stopped and I remember I think when I was about 14 I remember telling him like something like, "Hey, you don't respect me." And he's like, "I don't have to respect you." And I was like, "Okay." And then as soon as I hit 17 I left. So
Wow. And you said the hair pulling stopped before you left though, right?
yes, it stopped. I would say I went to high school as far as I could. So when I enrolled in high school, I went all the way to Manhattan. So when
Yeah.
that happened, I feel
Spent less
like,
time
and
in the
he saw how
house.
much, you know, it helped. And then, I mean, I wasn't home, so how am I supposed to get controlled, you know?
Yeah, and you said he saw how much what?
He saw, I mean, obviously I was older and I was more apart from
Yeah.
everyone else, so I guess it took the heat off of me. But I don't know, my siblings probably got it since I wasn't there. But
Got you. Got you.
mhm.
And when he would hit your mother, it was like slaps, punch, kick, choke. What was it?
Man, he would jump her like a bear because he was so much bigger than her. I remember that. Yeah, he would like try to like grab her, choke her, but she always fought back. And until one day, she, got him really good with a knife, and then
So he would
then
try
he
to
stopped.
choke her, but he wasn't slapping and punching, kicking. He would just like try to
No,
choke her.
he would try to like choke her, and but one day he did pull her hair. Um, but it was maybe that's why I don't deal with Hispanic men right now either.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
so I find all of this interesting. I appreciate you opening up and sharing this with us. You didn't
yeah.
have to. And we appreciate this. So thank you so much. And and your mother and father are still together? Are they both still alive and all of that?
Well, Tanya is ride or die with Dominicans, so yes, they are still together. Things have gotten better between them, but man, my mom she's given everything for her family. She
Got you.
and
When you say
yeah,
she's
it's
given
taking a
everything
toll
for
on
her
her.
family, what do you mean?
Her health, she goes out of her way, no matter how sick she is, to take care of my dad's every need. Like the man can't even boil an egg. So yeah, I get to her sometimes because I wish she would take care of herself more.
So her health is all messed up in what way?
She just has diabetes, chronic fibromyalgia, stress. She's a little depressed, and I just wish she would take care of herself more.
How old is your
Um,
mother?
she's 55.
Shut the front door. Your mother is
Mm-hmm.
55 and she got all of this going on?
Yes, and that's why I'm not very happy with her. But she could be dying in her deathbed, and she would get up and I don't know, get up and make my dad some plátanos or something. Like that's just the kind of person that she is. And
And he wouldn't even care
um,
that she's not feeling well. He'd just be like, yeah, make sure the
oh
oil
yeah,
is hot
he'll
enough.
expect it. He'll help her get up from bed. he's
Wow.
he's a baby. He just his mom, my grandmother, never allowed him to do anything, and that's just how it is. You cater to your men to your own detriment.
Wow. You're the
Yeah.
oldest?
Yes.
Okay. So that means your mother had you around 21.
Yes. She's pretty young.
Yeah, because I thought your mother was going to be much older than that. Last question. And so you said that your father would
Hmm.
jump her like a bear because he was so much larger than her. For what reason would he come up with, especially if she's doing all of this serving and catering to him,
Hmm.
for what reason would he come up with to jump her?
So one time I remember it was because she hung up on a friend. So he had a friend that gambled and would call the house and get my dad to gamble too. And I remember she hung up on that guy once, and he did not like that very well.
Oh,
And
so if she did not stay in complete submission, then he would jump her.
yeah, yes.
Wow. So
Hmm.
in your surmising, because we're gonna take the next call, I appreciate you sharing. In your surmising, what does a Latina get? What does she gain for all of her submission?
Well, my mom got fibromyalgia, diabetes, high blood pressure. I I don't know. And you wreak havoc on your daughters because your daughters
Mm,
see that. But it
wow.
stops with me. If I ever have children, that will never happen ever.
Wow. Jen, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. We love you. Keep your head up. Okay?
Thank you very much, Tanya. Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Wow, that was so deep and so revealing. The phone lines are still open for Latinas to call in and share. The question is, Latinas, what are you gaining for your submission? What are you gaining for your submission? You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hey, Tanya, this is Steven. I'm
All right. The phone lines are open. The question is, Latinas, what are you gaining for your submission? 323-488-3149. And so Latinas, not Latinos, not black men, not white women, not white men, none of that. Latinas, you're on the air live with Tanya. What is your name?
Tiara.
Hi, your name is Diana.
Tiara, like Tiana, but with an R.
I see that you're calling internationally. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have WhatsApp? Because I can have you call in on WhatsApp so that you don't have to pay for the call. Is that okay? Or do you want to
Oh,
reach?
yes.
All right.
Yes. Perfect.
You know
Hmm.
what? So what you do is send me a message on the same number on WhatsApp, and then I'll reach right back out to you, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right. I'm gonna take the next call and wait for this young lady to you're in the air live with Tanya TKO. I just pause for just one moment. I just need to make an announcement. If you are Latina, regardless of whether you're black, mixed, white, Taína, Indiana, whatever it is that you are, if you're Latina, I want to hear your story. I want to hear what it is that you're gaining for your submission. So it doesn't, the race is not, it's the ethnicity. So if you're Latina, please, that's Hispanic Latina, or as long as you speak English and you can call in, by all means, we want to hear your story. All right, you're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
All right. So welcome Maria from Philadelphia. What what's your ethnicity?
I am Mexican.
All right. So you're Mexican. All right. So were you raised submissive?
I was, yes, very.
Okay. And so what
I
is it?
I can relate.
Mhm.
I can relate to the young lady that called before me that married a white guy
Okay.
about not being able to ride bicycles, and we weren't allowed to climb trees, and um so yeah, you are a girl and you gotta act like a lady, and you have to just be ready to serve, have your house clean, and and be there for whatever your man needs.
How old were you when you first started getting these lessons?
Mm. Ever since you grow up, it's just an imbalance of, your brother can have whatever he wants, and you can't. Ever since you're 2 years old, the boys get the front seats in the car, and the boys, they can have candy at the store, and you can't. They just get away with everything,
You couldn't
and
even
you're
have
just
candy?
there
What was the reason that you couldn't get candy?
because you don't need it.
Because you have to
Because you
maintain your
don't,
figure or because you don't need sugar? What's the reason that you couldn't have candy?
because you don't need to be a needy girl. You
Because
need
you
to
don't
be
need to
able to
have
control.
needs?
Yeah, you don't need to be a needy, whiny girl. You just don't need it.
So you all would go to the
um,
store. The boys would be able to get candy, and people would be like, no, you can't have candy because era niña?
yeah, yeah. And if your brother wants to share with you, then that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so how
That's
did
how
you
it is.
interpret this as a child?
Well, I think there's a lot of elements to it. I think going to college kind of helped me look at it in a different perspective of people's cultures and whatnot. And religion, I think, plays a big role in it, in the way the machismo plays out in the family. You have to remember that Adam and Eve, right? Eve was the one
Okay.
that broke the law. She's the one that didn't listen and ate the apple, so women are the sinners, and the men got to keep the women in check, and even after Jesus, then you have the whole, when Jesus came out, to the world as I am the Son of God, was because of his mother. They were at the party, the wedding, where they ran out of wine, and it was the mother's family, and it was Mary who asked Jesus, I need you to do this, this favor. So she basically just sat back and, let her son get crucified. Um, so I think that plays a lot in that men need to keep the women in check, because they are traitors. They will swerve off of the righteous path and whatnot. I think that's one part of the element to it.
Wow. Okay. And then so when did the lessons to start to learn how to clean, when did you first become made aware of a husband in the future waiting for you to have all of these things together?
Well, you're just born with it. You're born with it. You see the abuelas, the tias, the tio, like you grow up in the culture and you're expected to do this. When you're eating, then you have to set the table for your brothers, for your dad, you have to wash the dishes, and they can just get up and leave. It's, it's just the way of life. You're just born to it. You're used to it. And in where I grew up, the women, you don't even need a driver's license because you don't need to go anywhere. If you need to go somewhere, you ask the man, and the man will take you. If you need to go grocery shopping, your man will take you. Why? Because you're hormonal, because you're, on birth control or whatever, and your emotions are not regulated, so you can't even be trusted with a vehicle. So you don't need it. You just need to be there for your man and, make sure that you have your grocery list and you're not forgetting anything, so that you're not being irresponsible. I remember when I first started to date, I had a boyfriend and he was Mexican. And I remember one day I was just so tired of my long hair. It was below my waist, almost to my knees, and it was so hot. And I remember I just cut it. and he came over in his little car, and I was out in the porch, and he stopped the car. He looked at me, and he drove off. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, maybe he didn't see me. And I was just waiting out there, because I didn't have a cell phone or anything back then. But he drove around again, stops the car, takes a look at me, and drives off again. And I'm like, okay, now I know he saw me. What's going on? So he circles right back around, and he stops the car, and he's just looking at me. But this time I have enough time to cross the street and say, hey, what's going on? And the first thing he said to me was, you cut your hair. I'm like, yeah, don't you like it? Isn't it nice? You cut your hair. Why didn't you ask me? And I was like, wow, it's just a haircut. No, women are supposed to have long hair. Like, why did you cut your hair? You should have run this by me. And I was like, oh, man. That's when I knew it wasn't going to work out.
Whoa. How old were you?
I think I was about 15, 16.
How short did you cut your hair?
Probably by my shoulders. It wasn't that short because I would have gotten in trouble if it was any shorter.
And how old was he?
He was about 17, 18.
And why didn't you ask him? Okay. So, question to
Yeah.
you, what is it that you have gained for your submission? Are you implementing the things that you've learned as a young lady, as a señorita?
Well, like I said, I think there's a lot of aspects to this culture. Just give me a minute, please. Sorry about that. So I think another of the reason why the whole machismo plays out is because, one, it's the men that carry the last name. So by being a submissive, good girl, you get honor for your family. And the boys always get priority and most importance because they're the ones that carry on the family legacy, the last name. They're the ones that carry on the bloodline. You don't. You lose. Once you get married, you carry on somebody else's name. And, you better pray that you marry good so that you don't, you're supposed to move up, not move down. And I don't know if you realize this, but Mexico they do have a very small community of people of color. And even though it is one of the, biggest tribes in Mexico, and it is very native, the darker your skin, you're considered in India, you're considered lower class. So the whiter you are, you're considered like better class and whatnot. So that's like a whole other issue.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Mexico in 2016, the family that I was staying with, the daughter was driving me to the grocery store, and she was grown. She was like 23 or something like that, and she was making fun of the native Mexicans, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, what? And I was like, and I checked her on it. I was like, you're Mexican too. And she was like, yeah, but look at him. He's so bajito. And, he just looks, she was just like, oh, he's poor. And, he's,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, you're looked upon a lot, being, and, sometimes I post pictures up on Facebook and like the brown people or people of color, I'm very fair skinned. And, people will get at me and say, take the filter off, I'm like, dude, like, you're brown. Like, what's your problem? You know?
No, I don't understand that
So
sentence. You're putting a brown filter on yourself now?
no, like, if I post a picture of myself, just the regular picture, people will say, um, put one up with because I'm short, I'm very petite. So people will say, like, you're short and you probably have a filter so you can look whiter.
Oh,
And they'll come at
why would they
me.
say that to you, though?
I have no idea. It's so annoying. But I guess, because you're short, you're supposed to be brown or something. And it's just,
Oh.
but getting back to the topic
So I'm
about
sorry,
what do
hold on.
women,
Are the browner Mexicans more short?
yeah, in
Is that why she
general,
was
yeah.
calling him bajito and that he's Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't realize that. That's weird. So the whiter
It's
Mexicans are
very,
taller?
yes, yes. So the more northern Mexico that you go, the taller they get. They were
I didn't
more
realize
close
that.
to,
Huh.
yeah, and
Well, well, well. Okay, so you married what type of man?
um, I am not married. um,
Oh.
yeah, no, I just think that system was just not for me. I was, like I said, I think going to college just opened me up, just to see life in a different way, and also to understand a lot of decisions in my culture, which, whether I disagree or agree with them, I've learned to respect, the way that the men try to keep their women in line is, to give the family honor, and
Mm.
also, they having a woman at the house, that she doesn't work because she's the stabilizer. If the kids need to be home from school because they're sick, mom is there to pick up the phone, and you're there to make sure that your kid isn't smoking, that there's food on the table. So you have the role to fulfill,
Mm.
and that the sanctity of the family and the sanctity of the home is your responsibility, and that brings honor to the family. That you are a trustworthy person, and it like a wholesome person, a wholesome family, and that's what you're supposed to get, from it.
Mm. So, how old are you now?
Girl, I quit counting. I'm like,
When did you quit counting? At what age?
I got so depressed when I hit 20 because I was like, I'm not a teenager anymore. I need to be an adult. So I got depressed after 20 and I quit counting.
20 is so young. What was it about
I
20 that
know,
made you feel old? What did you learn that made 20 seem old?
because you're not a teenager anymore. You're not young and stupid anymore. Now you're grown, And you can't say I'm just a kid.
So I'm confused though because so you decided not to get married and you stopped counting around 20. Okay.
Hmm.
You sound like you're in your 30s or so, right?
Yes,
Do you
right.
think that you will ever get married?
Um, I mean, I haven't given up on the idea, but I don't put it as I will be an unfulfilled person if I don't get married.
Right.
I think I'm very happy,
Do you date?
with I do date, yes, and I do have a beautiful child.
Okay. So when you began to date, what type of men did you date?
I have stuck with a Mexican men, for a while, and then I did switch over to Puerto Rican, because I felt that they were less machistas than the Mexicans were. They
Oh.
were a little bit more open, more caring and stuff. So then I switched over. But like I said, I think going to college just kind of opened me up to dating all kinds of people.
How interesting. Oh
Yeah,
my
but I
goodness.
think the whole, what do the women get for being so submissive and
Yes.
just serving their men is the idea that if a mother is home, if a woman is home, then you don't have to worry about, your son experimenting and being gay, or, your daughters getting out of line and becoming lesbians. Like, you have to keep your family in a certain sanctity.
So, but what is she gaining though? She gains the knowledge that she can watch her children.
Yeah, that she could watch her children, and make them good human beings, and that she could be there for the grandkids.
And what
That's,
about her life though? What is she gaining? I mean, you're talking about other people's lives being good. What about her
yeah.
life?
Well, then she will have lived a fulfilled life, that she played out her role, and that would make her happy.
That she
That
played out her role
she,
by making sure that other people live good lives.
right. But she, remember, when you're a little girl, you don't get to decide, like, if you want a candy or something. So you don't grow up wanting or
Anything.
having certain expectations, you just are happy and blessed.
What is your mother's health like? She's still married to your father, right?
No, actually, she was the one that encouraged me to study and go to college. I think she was way ahead of her time. She was definitely a feminist. Um, so yeah, her marriage didn't work out with my father, but she did live the rest of her life feeling like having an inner battle, I think, between herself, um like I failed at this, and because I I chose to walk away from this marriage, that I am not entitled to find me another man, because that makes me an easy woman, or a woman of the streets, and that will bring dishonor to my family. So I cannot do that.
Oh my goodness. Did your father remarry?
Oh yeah, he has tons of kids. I can't even count them. I probably have one in every state.
Wait, he married somebody but had children outside of the marriage all over the country?
Yeah, yeah,
He was cheating?
yeah. Is she knew it?
Hold on. Your mother passed away?
No. She moved away from him, and then
Oh.
he remarried, but continued on with his lifestyle.
Oh, he was cheating on your mother too.
Right, and that's why she walked away.
Was
Like,
he
she was
violent
like,
with your
no, no, no.
mother?
He was, yeah, and that's
Violent,
why she
violent
couldn't,
in what way? Like fist
in
violent,
every way
slap
possible.
violent, stomp violent, hair
Everywhere.
pull?
Yeah, everything. Everything. You name it, he probably did it to her. He was very violent, and the Hispanic culture is just very violent with their women. Like, I remember being in high school, middle school, and having, my Latina Mexican friends, and there was a neighbor of mine. He had like 5 girls, and he felt damned, like, I didn't get a boy, like, F my life, because I didn't get a boy, and now I'm stuck with these girls that are probably going to be making stupid decisions, so I got to keep them in line. And these girls were not allowed to go to the corner store unaccompanied. I'm talking high school girls, 17, 18. They could not go anywhere without an escort being their mom, their dad, and uncle, or somebody that was going to keep them in check, and it was just the horrible way to
Keep them
live.
in
They had
check
no
in what
freedom.
way? Like making sure they were walking right or making sure they didn't talk to people?
Giving their phone numbers out, making sure they weren't making eyes at somebody, winking at nobody. Like, you gotta keep a serious face. Like, you're not out here being a girl of the streets. You're not about that life.
At
You're
17,
gonna know it.
18. But see, it doesn't make sense to me, because if at 18 they're not supposed to date and 20 you're old, then between what age are they supposed to find this husband?
Well, it's the family will find you a husband. The family, like, if you are doing things correctly, like you're supposed to be doing, then you will marry a friend of the family or somebody that they know, and it comes off as like you're picking somebody, but in reality, it's everybody aligning. It's no longer an arranged marriage like it would have been years ago, but you kind of grow up knowing, like, your dad's probably going to want to hook you up with so-and-so, or,
Really?
certain people will be invited to your house and certain people will not be invited to your house. So it's kind of like that.
And so you were born and raised in America, or you were born and raised in Mexico?
I was born and raised in America. I was born, sorry, in Mexico. I was raised in America. And then when I was able to travel and make my own decisions, when I was legally 18, I took charge of my life and became independent.
Yeah, so you went and you got this education and stuff like that, but then you still felt shame when you turned 20. You felt old.
I did. I felt old because, by that time, I was away from everybody. So I basically, I cut myself off from all of my family. I would, like, for 5 years, I cut myself off from everybody because the fact that I had moved out was very offensive to them. Like, my brothers would not talk to me if I would call them on Christmas. They would hang the phone up on me. I remember calling my mother, on Christmas one time, and she says, "You have no mother. I have no daughter. Like, you left. Like, you're dead to me."
But didn't she encourage you to go to college?
Yeah. Yes, she did. But she didn't encourage me to,
Move away.
um, yes, to move away. Like, I took it overboard in her eyes.
So
And
she
now she's
wanted,
like all proud of me and stuff. But
oh, now, okay. So,
yeah, but she had a hard time with it.
okay. And so you said that you dated multiple different races when you were in college. You dated any white men?
I have dated white men. I have dated men of color. I have dated a lot of different backgrounds. But I always keep coming back to Mexican men, but not from Mexico, like Mexican American men that have evolved a little.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. And so when you dated black men, did you find that they catered to you?
Um, I think that was more of a physical attraction that more than anything else. I don't think I just felt that it was fun. They were fun. They were exciting. Like, you cannot be depressed around a person of color, and but it was nothing that I would want to settle down with
And why is
personally.
that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I, if I'm gonna be honest, that this is a hard topic to talk about. But if I'm gonna be honest, brutally honest, I could not see myself settling down with a person of color because I would not bring myself to have kids and deal with all the stigma that people of color have to deal with.
So when you say people of color, you're talking about black people, because anybody who got
Yep,
any shade of brown or yellow is a person of color.
right. And I don't date dark brown people either. it's not like I intentionally go out, but I think like subconsciously, I just, I
Okay.
don't know.
So you said
Yeah,
that
it's
that
true.
you had your fun with black men and other darker brown men, but you wouldn't
Hmm.
see yourself having children with them because you didn't want to deal with the stigma of having a brown child.
Yeah, yeah. Then that was passed on to me, growing up from my culture and stuff, and just it's a tough world out there.
So a brown child with straight hair or a brown child with the curly hair or just anybody darker than
You,
you.
anybody darker than me would be considered a downgrade, or uh, yeah, you're supposed to be bettering the family and
They
not
got that
making it
in
worse.
Mexico too, the mejorar la raza.
Yes, yes,
What
and
do
that
they
is
say in
why,
Mexico? Do they say mejorar la raza or they say something else?
yeah, they say you have to mejorar la raza. So you laugh at it, but it's very sad. It's very, it is very sad. The way that everything plays out.
So, but I'm curious
But
though. I'm curious. You said you could not be depressed around a black man. So they were a lot of
right,
fun. You hung out and they entertained you.
yeah.
Did they cater to you and wipe the dirt off your feet and all of that?
I don't think it was more catering. I think it was just more like, let's party, and I got the undivided attention, and
Hmm.
but yeah, they were just. I don't consider that they were settling down material at all.
Because of the whole race thing, because you didn't want to darken the race, you wanted to better the race. Mejorar la raza means make the race better. And
Yeah.
when people say that, when Latinos say that, they mean be with somebody
Hmm.
white or somebody who has recessive genes, so maybe your child can get some of
Yeah.
those recessive genes. How
And
interesting.
and if we're gonna be honest about this,
Hmm.
the person that is the father of my child, he has in like his great 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 somebody was African, and I knew that. And when I was looking for a partner in life, I remember that that was going to be one of my questions, that you wouldn't have somebody from Africa or from somewhere over there in you, because I didn't want the possibility that my child would be dark. But at the same time, uh, I made an exception for this one because he had so many other characteristics that I was looking for. He was tall, fair skinned. There was just a lot of issues that he had to cover. And then at the end of the day, I was like, and if he's going to have, and if my son's going to be well endowed at the end, whatever. I will take that 10% chance.
So hold on, hold the hell on, hold the hell on, hold the hell on, hold
Is
up.
that too much?
No, so you were thinking about whether or not your son would get the big penis gene from his father who looked white, but you said his way
Hmm.
down in the generation somebody was black,
Yeah.
but he looked white. Was his hair straight?
Is it wavy? But yeah, straight. It wouldn't be considered. Yeah.
Interesting. And then how did the child come out?
Perfect.
When you
Just
say
like I wanted. He was
perfect,
everything I prayed for.
so your child came out light complected with straight hair, and that's what you consider to be perfect.
I think he's just the perfect kid. And I just hope to be a good mother to him, and I hope, I see myself making a lot of the same mistakes that I judged in my culture and stuff.
Like
I
what?
catch myself, and I try to grow as a
What type of
person.
mistakes
And
do you find yourself making?
with him, I think the way that the Spanish disciplines their child versus the way like an American would discipline their child. Like I find myself raising my voice at him, and I find that that's a cultural thing, you know. But I have an amazing child, and those are things that I'm working on to raise him with love instead of with fear, if that makes sense.
Where's the child's father?
He's present in his life, yes. But like I said, he's also um, of Mexican descent. So he does have that machismo aspect of it. And it's something that I'm working with
Why?
still.
So you two are not together still.
Right.
Why didn't he marry you?
I was not willing to marry him under the conditions that he wanted.
What conditions
So
did he want?
he gave me an engagement ring, but like he forbade me to work and things like that. Like I'm a provider and you're a caregiver, and that you should be happy with that.
And so you only have one child. How old is your child now?
Child is in third grade right now.
So he's about 9.
Mhm.
So you didn't have any daughters yet.
No, ironically, I wanted a daughter at first, and then when I had a boy, I was actually very grateful that I had a
Grateful,
boy.
grateful why?
Yeah, because of my culture, and
So even though
like.
you knew that these things were toxic, you still are perpetuating. Do you cater to him
Mhm.
and clean up after him and stop him from learning
Yeah.
how to cook and clean?
Well, I do tell him, come in the kitchen and do this with me, pick up your toys. I do those things. I'm making a conscientious effort of making sure that he does those things. But remember, I'm still co-parenting with a person that's very machista. So, if he goes to his father and his father catches him doing something like this, he will say, you leave that there. This my housekeeper will come and clean it up. Like, you don't do that. So then he will come back to me and he would say things like, that's your job, mom. That's your job. No, you pick it up. And after he's done eating, I will say, put your dishes in the sink. And he will say, that's your job. I don't do that. Boys don't do that. And I'm like, in this house they do. But it's something that I'm working on.
He sends a housekeeper to your house?
Um, he has a housekeeper, and it's something that my kid is growing up with because I refuse to do the work.
So you two live together but are not together?
We we have two homes, and we're back and forth all the time. It's just a very complicated
You
situation.
two live together?
And we do and we don't. We have separate homes, and I don't know. I don't even know where I am right now, or whether I want to make it work. I don't want to make it work. It's
Where do
an
you
inner
sleep?
battle.
Where do you sleep at night?
In my bedroom, alone.
Where does he sleep?
Who, my child?
The person who fathered this child.
He's in his own place. He's in his own. We're just raising this child together.
Is he sleeping in the same house as you?
Some nights, yes. I mean, we would go, it depends really, like if it's summer or during school. He's a very toxic, like, that's my son. He's going to carry my last name. I have to be on him. I think if it was a girl, he'd just direct deposit me and not care. But because it's a boy, he has to make sure that this boy, grows up to be a man.
So, how many nights out of the week does he spend in this house with you?
Sometimes 3, sometimes 5, sometimes 2. I mean, he's a man, so.
And where is he the other nights?
In his home.
So he has another home that you consider. How many homes does he have?
2.
He has 2, but one is considered the summer home.
One is considered his place. One is considered our place, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So he has a separate house that you do not have the key for.
I have access to it.
That's not what I asked you, Maria. Do you have the key to his home?
Yeah. You know what? I've never looked at it that way. I don't have the key to that place now that you mention it, and I don't like that.
So he has a house.
But I never questioned it. Now that you're bringing this realization that I've never questioned that.
So he has this whole other life that he's living. He has a house. You don't have clothes at this other house.
No.
You don't come and go from this house as you please.
No.
You have this house that he comes and goes from as he pleases.
Yes.
Whose name is on the deed in the house that you live in?
His name is on the deed. When I met him, I had my own place, and then we got engaged and everything. And he convinced me. He was very smooth about the way he did it because I was very about my independence. But he smoothly convinced me in his ways, and I got rid of my house.
And then he already had this house, or he bought it after you two got engaged?
Yeah, no, he already had it. So it kind of made sense at the time.
Okay.
And I regret it now. But
yeah. So you're not paying any bills?
No.
You don't work?
I do work.
You work 40 hours a week?
Hold on. I work from home.
You work from home. All right. And your son is out in school. When was the last time you had intercourse with him?
Oh, girl, I cannot remember. No.
Years ago? How years, months, weeks?
Years. I would say years, yeah.
And you're not able to date anybody else?
No, it would be very complicated for me too.
Of course not, because he comes and goes from your house whenever he pleases. But when he wants to go have his good time, he goes to his house and does whatever the hell it is that he wants to with whomever it is that he wants to. But he got all of these tabs on you coming and going, that you've been single for the past 9 years with a man that's not yours, that you're not having intercourse with, who is coming and going as he pleases. What is it that you're gaining for all of this submission?
Therapy.
Have you been to therapy yet?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you are currently gaining? How is your life better because of this submission to this man, following his way of doing things?
I'm not gaining well, this wasn't about me. This was about this was about what Hispanic women gain. And so I guess if you would make it about me, is that I would gain keeping my family together like the Hispanic woman is supposed to.
So the thing that you're gaining for your submission is keeping your family together as Spanish women are supposed to? You're from Spain too?
Yes. Sorry?
You're from Spain as well?
From Spain? Yes, my ancestors were considered mestizos, which was Spanish mixed with Mexicans.
I
And that's where
see.
my super light skin comes from.
I see. I see.
Yeah, so it's a whole cultural thing, and it's something that I have, personally internally battled with, and I'm working towards making, I guess, a decision whether I would like to continue this life or not. Right now, I'm working towards not.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
But
What do you do? Because we have to take the next call because this call is going on for so long, but I find it
girl,
interesting. What do you do when he tries to have intercourse with you, when he starts breathing on your neck?
no, I'm at a point where I'm like, you will not have access to me.
You're
But
at
I
a
need to get my
point.
head in order. Yeah,
Excuse me. You said you're
no,
at a point. I thought that point came a few years ago. When you say you're at
it
a point,
did.
it sounds like you two are still are intimate with one another.
No, it's something that this is a culture. This is a
You're
culture
not,
that you grow up with.
listen, Maria, you don't have to be embarrassed or ashamed with me. If you're still having intercourse with him, just be woman enough to say that you're
I'm
still having
not. I'm
intercourse.
not.
So
I'm not.
when he's breathing on your neck and trying to toca la cintura, you're not you're just
Mhm.
there like, I know.
No, I walk away. I walk away.
When was the last time he had his private part in any on any part of your body?
Proximity. In any proximity. I mean, it's been years.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm trying to move on and move forward, and and I'm struggling with it. At the same time, it feels like I'm breaking my family, and I'm not
Family,
okay with that.
what is it that you want for your life? What is it going to make Maria happy? What goals and dreams do you have, Maria?
Mm, I think I'm not sure yet. That's what I'm working with my therapist with. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking to her about. But in general, that's what I think the whole Hispanic women struggle with is the family unity, because that's what's engraved in them. That's what they grow up with. The grandmas don't, they stay at home. Now I work, but I'm at home. And this is engraved in us that we are home, and if you work, then you have to work at something that you will be able to stay at home and work.
Got you.
And
Got you.
because you are that center, it's the love that your family receives, it comes
I
from
hear
you.
you. I hear
You
you.
are the center you are the
Listen,
glue, you're what bonds
I
everything.
hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And I hear exactly what you're saying. And the only thing that is not lining up for me is the fact that he's living in this house in a different room, and you say that you two are living these separate lives but in the same
Mhm.
house, but yet he's still coming there 5 days a week, and you don't kiss,
Mhm.
you don't hold hands,
No.
you're not intimate in any
No.
way, and
No.
he's still coming over. And what is he doing while he's there? Is he playing football with the is he watching TV? Is he doing homework
Yeah.
with him? He's doing all of those things.
No, of
Just
course, the men don't do homework with the kids. Are you kidding me, girl?
oh, okay.
What
All
are you
right.
talking about?
All right. All right. Well, listen, Maria, thank you so much for shedding light on this. This has been enlightening, and we appreciate you taking the time to participate in the conversation and shedding light. Thank you.
I love your show. Bye now.
Thank you. All right. Wow, that was something else. Ooh. We are going to take the call from the lady who called in internationally. We're going to reach out to her, but there's a few things that let's do some housekeeping, right? I'm not playing around. Don't put up vulgar or disrespectful comments on the screen because I am blocking people silently. I didn't even give the last two people who got blocked a block party, but they know that they've been blocked for acting foolish. So we have some apples that have come in. We're going to check the apples. I'm going to play that Sin Santana clip for you all. And this has been wow. I am drinking the juice that I told you about, carrot, apple, ginger, and a little bit of kale. And it is refreshing. So, what is that I hear? Ooh! 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 All right, let's check these apples. All right, Chandrika sends $2. Thank you, Chandrika. We appreciate that. If you want to support the show, if you're enjoying it, these types of shows are resource intensive, and there are different ways that you can support the show. You can share so that the algorithm sees that the video is share worthy. You can share it onto your page. You can share it in an inbox. You can share it onto WhatsApp. You can leave comments. You can throw hearts up. You can like the video. You can send an apple, which I read on air. You can go to TanyaTKO.com and buy a pair of my hoop earrings, which come in a beautiful keepsake velvet suede bag and the beautiful knockout logo on them. These are the 80 millimeters right here. You see them. I wear them in my video. So yes, you can get a pair. They are $39 and $49 on my website, and I am going to be closing up shop this week. So make sure that you go and get those, and you can send an Apple, which are cash apps. The link is in the description of the video. Glennis says, you are magical. Thank you so much, Glenn. We appreciate that. Cherise sends $2 and says, love you from Chicago. Love you too, Reese. Khadijah sends $5 and says, sounds like the guy who called in from UK saying, even on her deathbed, she needs to submit to him or cater to him. Yes, you remember that video. Yes, that video was a mess. So let me make sure that I put a heart up so I know where we stopped. So yeah, this is just all so crazy. I forgot to ask her what her health was like. Hopefully her health is good, because that is a lot to deal with. All right, we're going to play this Sin Santana.